and welcome back to my channel. My name is Georgia Louise. I am a girl in fantasy. I love all things fantasy related, films, books and artworks. And that is what I do here on my channel, mainly film and books, like book adaptations to turn into films. So I thought I'll bring you guys along and we can edit together so you can see my work in progress. Now the thing is, I need the screen recorder and I forgot how to do it. And here we are. So all of these photos, 1,335 of them, are in one folder, specifically just in photos, and then I put all of the ones I like into a separate folder. So these ones are the only ones I like or good quality. There's something about it where I know it's decent and good and I can work with it. So I am using Polar, which is an online editing software for free. I personally like to use this one because I don't really need all the fancy gadgets and gizmos and softwares that cost too much. But also, I just don't need it for my style. My style is, I personally like to do things on location or on the set, and that way it's all done. So when I come into the editing, it's only like touch-ups type of thing. So for this one, I've touched it up a little bit. We're gonna bring down that warm tone, open those shadows up a little bit, but then drop the blacks. Might do a little extra on the highlight there. Clarity is +5. Now the saturation, here is where we can play around with certain things. So you can see that's very blue. So I like the contrast where you got the massive orangey background and then we've got more of the cool tones. Got more of the cool tones here with the males in the shot. Let's bring up that warmness a little bit more. Bring down the red. There we go. Now I like to play around with like the magenta and the purple just to see if anything gives it a little bit more oomph, or if there's any. No. So then I usually go into the luminance. Here we can also play around with what do I want to do. See, I could go into more of the darker thing, make him pop a lot more, and then draw your eye down to the other person in the shot, or make the background pop and then it brings us up into the gentleman. So I can do these two different ways. What am I feeling for this shot though? Am I feeling to make it bright in the back, or am I feeling to make it darker in the back? Since it's a very big chunk of that background, I think I'm going to make that brighter and then have it draw into the gentleman on the right hand side. So that is what I'm going to do. Just adjust it so the reds are down. Bring the blue luminous right down because it's highly saturated. And then once again see if there's any magentas and purples to play around with. Nothing. So that could just be whatever or back to 0. See? And then you look from the original to the edited. Original, edited. I like that. Alright, here we have something a bit more dynamic. We've got multiple different lights, multiple different people in the shot. So there's a lot going on. Let's see what we can do with this. So first I usually make it either warmer or I make it cooler. So I can go either way with this on how I'm feeling about it. So what I might do is go to this, kind of neutral it out a little bit, So neutral, my white balance was on 44 Kelvin. So now I'm turning it down. It doesn't say what temperature it's on here, but it's minus 26. I'm bringing it cool. Then that way I can play around with the saturation and what I want. And then I can always change it if I feel like I want to give it more dynamic, or if I want to just have it as a clean. So let's see, let's make it a little bit more bright with the highlights and the white. And go down to saturation. So obviously the red needs to be nice and saturated there. Now I'm not sure if that's going to pick up as purple or magenta. So let's have a look. Yeah, thought so. So let's bring that purple back. So this here in the background is a completely white wall that they have a red RGB light pretty much bouncing off that and here in the corner. So that's coming up as magenta. As you can see, that's very low saturation, very high saturation. What I'm going to do is bring it up so it doesn't really look like a white wall, where that is really atmospheric. We've got the ladies here, and on the gentleman, or that might be a bit bright there. He looks a little odd with how bright that magenta is. We might bring it down then. Oh, I went back up to 5. Let's go to 2. Let's do 2. I like that. And then we can play with the red. Should I make it more bright? A little bit more. Yeah, I think 16. Let's see if any yellow is being picked up. Surprisingly not. I thought at least here on this gentleman and on the girls, the yellow might be picked up a bit more, but that would be the orange then. Yeah. So the orange I don't want too warm because we want that red and that magenta to be the main focus of this dynamic shot, because you've got the, didn't know it can move. You've got more of the black in frame, black, wearing black. So it gives it a nice dynamic here, like a little S shape. And then these two ladies. So I don't want it too warm and I don't want it too cool either. We want a nice contrast of colors. Give it a range of colors, because if we make it too warm, then if we make it too warm, then the ladies here are more in focus than the camera and the cinematographer here, which is what we don't want. We want him and the camera to be more in focus and capture in your face when you look at the photo, and then go to the background actors. So we're going to bring that down. Yes. And now go into the luminance and let's play around. See, we can make them darker as well, but because we already done the saturation, so the red is prominent. And then we can see, I might bring it down a little bit, not too much, because I still want them to be nice and bright. Maybe a little bit more.
6.5 hours later.
So we might actually bring that back up and give him some more of a rim light right there. A big fan of shots with practical lighting, as you can see right here with a big light that's shining on them. That's because if you guys have ever seen Steven Spielberg movies, if you've seen Steven Spielberg or Roger Deakins cinematography and films, then you would know they do a lot of practical lighting within their scenes. It just makes it look so much more natural. It makes the environment look so much more natural and embodies the environment that they're in and enhances the story. So that's why I like it. I love burlesque. They do a fantastic job because it's, you know, the glitz and the glamour of stage and performance. That way you see a lot of the practical lighting in those wide shots especially. They even have some that are close-ups of the light bulbs to emphasize showtime. If we're going by rules of third, as you can see here, he is more in focus, and then we go to the gentleman on this side here. Yeah, so there's a lot of black here. The light isn't going there. It looks a little, how you doing? So we're just going to leave that there, and then that way we've got this kind of triangle composition going on. And then let's see what we can do here. I'm going to bring the shadow up, bring the blacks nice and low. I don't think I need highlights or the white. I might see if I can bring the white down. No, I don't really like that. Let's bring that white back up. Yeah. So I don't really need to touch those. Now let's see what we can do for saturation. Studio that we're in has a green screen there in the back, and then just the black curtain on top. So let's see if we can do saturation. Bring that. Oh, it's not really going. Let's see if we can do. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But we're going to bring that orange down this time. Maybe not. Nope. Do I want the red to pop? Or does it look funny? Do I want that red to pop, or is it gonna look funny? Alright, I think 11 or 14. I'm gonna leave it at number 11. It's pretty powerful, man. And then bring that blues up because it's a cold scene. Actually, I like that. I don't know what I just did, but I like it. Ooh, yeah. There we go. Look how dynamic that looks. How that is bright. But then there's just a lot of darkness going on. I like that a lot. But I'm doing a circle motion of composition from the light source all the way around with the dark edges, and then kind of going back into their faces, and that's all light. Everyone's different, and you just play with your own style and see where curiosity takes you. Alright, I think I am happy with how this is turning out. Well, that is all I'm going to show you guys. Unfortunately, this is still in production, so I can't really show you much, but I did give you enough where hopefully you guys are inspired to go out and do your own unit stills or your own photo shoots and play around with color grading and see what you come up with. Peace out.